Good afternoon there. My name's Simon from Rock's Oysters, and this is...
My name is Phil.
Hi, also from Rock's Oysters. This is a quick little vid to show you how to open oysters at home. You've bought your oysters, you've got your knife, and the next thing you need to know is how to shuck in comfort to create that raw bar experience. As mentioned, you're going to need an oyster knife, which you can get from our web shop. Oyster knives are sharp up here, thick here, and they're an essential tool in the shucking or the opening of oysters. You're also going to need a nice dry tea towel and lots of fresh oysters. Give it a tap. It should sound dense. I'm left-handed, so basically to summarize, oyster in this hand, oyster knife in this hand. I go in at the hinge, I give it a wiggle, find the weak point, twist it. You're cutting along the top shell to release that abductor muscle. There you go. And then just give the oyster a little clean around, cutting the base to release it from its shell. So I'm left-handed. It's a whole other world and conversation to have to the right-handed people. And luckily I've got Phil right here. Show me how it's done.
I'll show you how I open an oyster. So let's start with the oyster first. When you get this, you're going to keep it at home in the fridge, this side up, flat side at the top. Okay, and we're going to open the oyster. Looking at it, you're going to go in right here with the hinge, where the top shell meets the bottom, in this kind of little hinge bit here. So when you're going to go in, you're going in slightly downwards, not in this way, slightly downwards. When you get in a bit further, then you're going to twist it. Twist up this top shell, and then right here, on the right-hand side of the oyster as I look at it, is where the muscle is, what we call the abductor muscle. This is what's keeping it shut. So the aim is to get into the top shell, pop it, and then run the knife along the very top, where the top shell meets the bottom, and then release this muscle, and then the top will just pop straight off. So let me show you in practice. So you have your cloth here, knife in. So the idea of abdominal over is that you're kind of protected. If you miss, this is going to protect you, but you're not going inside, or you're kind of going down. So as I said, knife in, give it a bit of a wiggle, and you should be able to kind of hold the oyster up with the knife. You've only gone in probably the very tip, no more than about that much of the knife. So do the little knife, wiggle, wiggle. So you're in. That's the most, and then you pop. That's the oyster popping. You heard that little sound. So now you clean the knife off. Put the knife in and just release this top shell a little bit, okay? Then that's released. You're running the knife along the top bit here and cutting the muscle that's there. So along. Okay, cut the muscle. And what you want to do is scrape off there. So the aim is to have nothing left on this top shell. It's there. We have our oyster. So you want to check for any shell or debris that's come off. There's a tiny bit there. Make sure your knife is clean. So there's your oyster. And then this is the muscle that you've just released. So you want to cut this away in the bottom shell. That is your oyster, nice and loose and ready to eat. So as you're going in this side, if you've kind of cut the oyster a little bit, you can then turn it over. So you see there now you have a lovely, plump, juicy oyster, no shell, clean, ready to go. I've done oysters. Enjoy.